Roll for Crit here. Today we are previewing Mechanica, which should be on Kickstarter now as you're watching this. It's a brand new board game from Resonim Games in which all the players are humans, appropriately enough, working together to build their own factories, manufacturing special little robots, sort of like Roombas, but a non-specific brand. And these robots have kind of their own agenda where maybe they're trying to take over the world and kill all humans.
Maybe, I mean...
you never know. But that's not really part of the game. The main focus of the game is you trying to build the most efficient factory that you can. So there's 3 different types of robots. There's the basic ones, which are white. Then the next level up are orange. And then there are the purples. And those are your most advanced robots.
Your deluxe.
That's right. Orange are plus, purples are deluxe. Then everybody has their own player board. It's going to start off just looking empty like this. That's your factory. And as you can see, you're going to start by putting robots over here. And eventually they will go through this conveyor belt and end up on your trucks where you can sell them. But things can get more complicated along the way. At the beginning of each round before the players go, there's a special robot friend named Armando. He's sort of your head supervisor. And he, before anyone actually takes their turns, is going to activate everybody's factories. So all the robots will move along your factory line when that happens. How exactly does that work, though?
Well, initially, they're just going to follow the treadmill. You start with a basic one robot, as you said, that moves along, makes the basic white pieces. But after you sell them, you'll make money, which you can use to buy parts. The way it's going to work is there are going to be parts on this wheel here, and depending where they line up, that's how much the part costs. So right now, this piece costs 7, but as it rotates along, at the end of each turn, it'll move 1 slot over. It'll become cheaper. And I'll move that back for now. You'll add more pieces at the end of each turn, and when you buy that, you may either add it to your board, like so, they're cute little puzzle pieces, or you can recycle it in the bottom right to get 2 robots, or 1 robot, depending on what it has, of that type. So if I recycle this, I get 2 orange bots, the 2 pluses. In addition, if a part rotates all the way through at the end of your turn and goes down, you get to recycle it for free. So a lot of free, sweet stuff there. When this pile actually empties, as well as all the machine parts up here, that's actually when the game ends. So that is also how you can tell when this clock goes. These extras are only if you play with 4 to make sure everyone has enough turns. There's also some basic things, because you always got to have the basic pieces of forks, which are actually really important, you'll get to, and bigger trucks so you can hold more robots to sell. And if you're holding enough, instead of selling them for their basic costs of 2, 4, and 6, you can get these little blueprints. They are fun little robots. For example, the incinerator. I only incinerate trash. Citation needed. And you can sort of discard them for larger amounts of money you put in the bank, which is pretty much an end game scoring money only, not for your spending and purchasing. It's sort of your rainy day fund.
Right, so the money is your overall point, so it's one of those games where you're balancing how much do you spend versus saving it for the end of the game.
Right, and do this enough and you're going to have some pretty wacky boards that can do some crazy strategies. For example, this one here has a way that things are going to get gift wrapped. As well as then duplicating or upgrading the pieces. You have one where actually it upgrades and de-upgrades to make 3 lower level robots.
Yeah, you end up with this kind of crazy Rube Goldberg-esque thing where because of those forks, as you mentioned, you might have different options. So depending on where you have room on your trucks, you can send them different directions. Yeah, they'll be splitting into different pieces, upgrading into better pieces, swinging themselves over other pieces, all kinds of crazy things. And you can put them anywhere you want as long as they fit into those slots. There's no rules. You can end up with there's a large variety of different combinations you can come up with.
And what you're seeing here is a 3D printed, but it's going to be how the box is going to look out. It's going to actually have this sort of layout where the decks are already set up into where they're supposed to be.
Yeah, I mean, this is a game that for setup time, it's minimal, and cleanup time as well. If you clean it up, you're setting up for the next game, essentially. Very cool. It's all built right into the box. This is such an interesting design because, you know, we've seen plenty of games where you move the pieces down and they cost less if nobody buys them, but the fact that it just does that right there for you, it's just so convenient.
And it just feels like when it falls in, it feels cool to have it recycle that way.
Yeah.
We should mention that right now it's stretch goals to get the double layered boards here.
Right, so
as well as
kind of slot
the 3D bank. But it's so cool to have the puzzle pieces like snap together, and so you can feel like, okay, this is how. Because the puzzle, I think this they said is fine. Like the pieces, the machines themselves, and that is so cool because you make these crazy, as you said, like contraptions, and you can make like the flinging one he told us about, where some people fling it backwards because it gives you points depending on what it flies over. So you can do all these weird strategies depending on what comes out. The humor in it is great. I mean, the artwork is this cute adorableness because there's no way these robots are going to revolt against us.
Yeah, it's kind of this like retro future, almost like the Jetsons kind of look to it. Like, almost like the 60s sci-fi art or 50s sci-fi art. Very cool and colorful and fun. And it feels good to create these elaborate contraptions. There isn't really any like take that. You're not fighting with each other. Most of the player interaction comes from trying to get pieces before other people can get them.
Right. So sometimes you may decide, like, I may purchase this piece here, because at the end of my turn it's going to move here, and at then Jonathan's turn, it'll get recycled. So I have to buy unless I'm giving him 2 free recycled robots, but I may not want it.
Right, yeah, so there's fun stuff like that, and because of the different, you don't know exactly which pieces are going to come out and when, every game can be very different. You can really build a pretty large number of strange factory lines, which is a lot of fun.
Yeah, I mean, even though this is a prototype, and as we said, some of the pieces are stretch goal things, it's fantastic. Like, I love the way, like, I'm always going to love games that do good insert, and the fact that it designs it so well into the game that, as you said, it sets up the game when you put it away is great. The art is cute, and the puzzle designing thing, like, everything actually fits together, and you make this own crazy factory is just so cool.
No, it's genuinely, I think, it can definitely be called an innovative game. I think, we remarked we had played an earlier prototype, and I said at the time as well that I don't think it really slots in. Okay, the pun was intended. To any specific like mechanic or genre. It feels like it's a blend of things. We're saying like it's kind of like feels like a programming game the way you slot pieces in and move them along, but it feels different. It definitely does not feel like most other games that you've played, and it plays well and it's fun. It doesn't take super long. It's not that hard to understand and set up, but there's enough depth with all those different pieces that you can come back to it and keep playing. So if this sounds cool, if you think that idea sounds cool, then I definitely recommend going to look at it.
And we're not recommending this because there are robots behind the camera threatening us.
No, but maybe just in case one day they do rise up.
Yes.
We want to stay on the safe side. The game, again, is called Mechanica. It's from Resonant Games, and you can find a link to the Kickstarter in our description right below. You can also, comment, let us know what you think about the game, subscribe for other Kickstarter previews, or if there's something else you want us to talk about. Go check it out. Till then, I'm Jonathan.
I'm Will.
And this was a Kickstarter preview. Make sure you click the like and subscribe buttons so you get more board game content from Roll for Crit.
Do it. Do it now.